If okay. Salamat, sorry everyone. My name is Christy Pineda. I am the solution manager looking after Indonesia. So I look after the database such as Scopus, which ETS currently has a
Okay,
trial access. Uh,
Miss
uh,
Miss Christy,
yes, yes, Ibu.
uh, start will begin with the house.
Okay,
I'm the
okay.
MC.
All right. Thank you, Ibu.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry.
Thank.
Okay, uh, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, selamat siang Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman mahasiswa ITS. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Terima kasih telah hadir dan bergabung di kegiatan Perpustakaan ITS Program Literasi Informasi Daring Online Training Database Scopus pada hari ini Kamis 6 Maret 2025. Semoga kita dalam keadaan sehat maksimal. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eva, and I will be the host for today's online training on the Scopus database. And this event is important because we'll be exploring Scopus, one of the leading academic reference platform. By understanding its feature and learning how to optimize its use, we can support our research, scientific publication, and academic career. Okay, today we are fortunate to have an expert speaker, knowledgeable and experienced in this field. Please welcome Ibu Christy Pineda. Ibu Christy Pineda is account manager research intelligence of Elsevier. Nice to see you again, Ibu Christy.
Terima kasih. It is very nice
Thank
to
you.
see you again, Ibu Eva. And salamat. Sorry, everyone. So I am actually based in the Philippines. My apologies that I cannot speak in Bahasa. But like what Ibu Eva mentioned, I look after the Scopus database for Indonesia market.
Okay,
Um,
okay, Ibu Christy, I'm continue.
hmm.
Okay. And so welcome to Bapak Agus Santoso, Esos Magister Media Komunikasi Head of ITS Library, and also welcome to all participants. Oke Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman mahasiswa, kami informasikan terlebih dahulu ya terkait tata tertib daring perpustakaan ITS pada hari ini. Pertama pastikan akun Zoom Anda telah menggunakan format nama asli dan check-in maksimal 15 menit sebelum acara berlangsung. Aktifkan mode mute saat acara berlangsung dan pengajuan pertanyaan dapat melalui chat atau disampaikan secara langsung dengan terlebih dahulu klik icon raise hand. And jangan lupa mengisi daftar hadir ya saat acara berlangsung dan ikuti acara ini sampai dengan selesai. Okay, first of all, let's pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who give us mercy, guidance, happiness, and health so we can attend and participate in a good condition. Bapak, Ibu, dan teman-teman mahasiswa, untuk keberkahan acara hari ini, mari kita tundukkan kepala untuk berdoa. Berdoa dimulai. Berdoa dicukupkan. Menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya disusul dengan himne ITS. Let us continue with the singing of our national anthem, Indonesia Raya, and following that we will sing the hymn of ITS. To all participants in the Zoom meeting, please take a ready position. Mas Tono, please.
cinta Indonesia Raya merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya merdeka, merdeka, tanahku negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Negeriku yang ku cinta, ibu yang memberi segala pada semangatmu, cita-citamu tak kendur. 10 November 45 mendorong menjiwaimu, melangkah bertujuan dengan tekadmu yang teguh. Membina bangsa atas dasar Pancasila dan undang-undang dasar 45 landasan juangmu. Negeriku yang ku cinta, ibu yang memberi semangat kokoh denganmu membina putra-putrimu. Teknologi yang canggih, berbudi agung dan cerdas, menuju kesejahteraan bangsa dan umat manusia. Bawa tentukan ku turut impianmu, jadi pejuang yang takkan kenal kehilangan dari.
To all participants in this Zoom meeting, thank you. The next agenda is documentation. Mas Tono, would you please help with this? I invite all participants to open their camera. Oke, Mas Tondo, thank you. Baiklah, Bapak, Ibu, dan teman-teman mahasiswa ITS, tanpa berlama-lama, mari kita serahkan waktu kepada narasumber kita hari ini, Ibu Kristi, untuk memulai presentasi. Beliau akan presentasi penting tentang gimana sih database Scopus. Alright, without further ado, let us hand over the time to our speaker, Ibu Kristi, to begin the presentation. Ibu Kristi will present topic about the Scopus database. Ibu Kristi, please, time is yours.
Terima kasih, Ibu. Thank you very much again. Salamat sorry, everyone. So I am Christy Pineda. I am the account manager based in the Philippines, but I'm looking after the Scopus database in Indonesia. So at present, there is a trial access for Scopus for ETS until March 21. So you could actually log on to www.scopus.com. So for this session, I will be sharing with you some facts and overview about Scopus and where it can help you with your research. And I will also do a walkthrough with the use of the database. So let me share my screen first. Okay. For purpose of because my internet is quite intermittent, if it's okay, I'll just turn off my video for now, Ibu. Okay. So let me know if you could see my screen. Okay. All right. So Scopus is an abstract and citation database. For Scopus, there is no full text here. But Scopus is very helpful to help you in progressing your research. It can help you evaluate the kind of documents like articles, journals, books, even conference works in checking your against your research and reflecting research to serve your whole institution. So it could also act as an overview for you to see and benchmark with other institutions how they are doing in what particular research topic and who else you could collaborate in that field. Okay. So right now, Scopus is the largest indexation and abstract database. We have over 2.4 billion cited references, even dating back since the 1970s up to the present. We have over 7,000 publishers. So while Scopus is owned by Elsevier, the publications that you see on Scopus is not only limited to Elsevier, but we have publications coming from over 7,000 publishers. We have more than 24 million open access items. Okay? Either gold, hybrid, gold, green, or bronze. So these are mostly coming from journal articles. We have over 386 standalone books that are indexed on Scopus and over 28,000 active journals and over 2.5 million preprints. Now, when we say preprints, these are publications that are currently undergoing Scopus indexation, but it's only a matter of either changing the title or changing the text or font of that publication to match the Scopus indexation standards. In Scopus, you could also find over 20 million active author profiles. So this is one way for you to check how you are doing as a researcher, which of your publications have been reflected, especially when it comes to journals that are indexed on Scopus that you have published with. Or this could also be a way for you to check how your peers are doing, who are strong in a particular research field, and an avenue for you to connect and collaborate. You are also able to see over 94,000 affiliation or organization or institutional profiles. So here you could see how ETS is doing as a whole, as an institution, when it comes to research. And you could also see other institutions, how they are doing, and you could also benchmark with them and see what other projects or what other publications they have that you may find useful and eventually could also help you in terms of collaboration. Right. So this is a summary as of January this year on the number of publications that are indexed on Scopus. So if you notice, it's varied in journals, conference proceedings, there are books, and preprints. We have focus on various fields such as physical science, health science, social sciences, and life sciences. So it is multidisciplinary. Okay. Now, one of the things that we are proud with when it comes to Scopus as a database is because we have a content selection and advisory board. So they are the ones responsible for the contents that goes into Scopus or those that would be indexed on Scopus. They make sure that the journals or books that are indexed on Scopus are active, that they are not predatory, and that they are also within the Scopus indexation standards. So this is one way to ensure that the contents that you receive or you get out of Scopus is credible and that it is of high quality. Okay. And especially one of the things that we try to avoid is predatory journals. So that's also one way for you to check which journals are active that are on Scopus that you could also publish with. Okay. These are some of the help or benefits with the use of Scopus. First is to help you progress your research. And it could address various challenges, like as a faculty, for example, to help the next generation of researchers or with your peers. Because Scopus would be able to help you in terms of what kind of research is out there. Something that you may be able to benchmark, something that you may be able to check and evaluate. Okay. It could support the scholarly record because in Scopus, you would also be able to see some metrics in terms of citation, in terms of field-weighted citation impact. It could foster career growth and development because, again, it would be a way for you to collaborate with other researchers out there internationally or globally. You could also use Scopus to evaluate your research. It could help you to showcase researcher impact. For example, you're collaborating with a particular researcher. It provides you an idea. What are the topics that he has published? What is his metrics, or we call it H index, a metrics that Elsevier has created, and later on I will explain that further. You could also see in terms of what other organizations are doing. Okay, in terms of the research output and publications. You could also use Scopus to reflect your own research by checking, being informed of global ranking calculations and assessments. And what do we mean by this? Because in Scopus right now, 40% of the data used by global ranking bodies such as THE or Times Higher Education and QS comes from Scopus. So there, when you evaluate, you would be able to see which, for example, what SDG this certain publication is focusing, so that if you need to grow on your publication specific to a specific SDG, you would be able to identify what journals you should publish with. It could help you analyze global and regional trends because, again, you have a view, a macro view, not just with your institution, ETS, but you could also view other institutions' profiles within Indonesia or globally. And you could also, on an IT level and library level, you could integrate this with your existing research management platform with the profile data coming from the researchers. Okay. So, in a nutshell, or to summarize, this is where we could definitely help by using Scopus, progressing research, whether it be through teaching or using it as part of the research workflow to act as a guide, as a evaluation tool for you to assess which documents that you could use to cite, which documents you could also use to evaluate existing research, what they are doing, or even looking for potential collaborators. It could support career and growth development, again, because of embedding Scopus into the research workflow. You would be able to be confident that the data that you get out of Scopus is credible because, again, we have a board that oversees it, and the updates in Scopus are very timely or every month. Okay? It helps to research, to thrive research, to support scholarly records, and signaling researcher impact because of the metrics that we have done, also including the metrics that we have done on an organizational level. Okay. At this point, I will direct you to the website. Okay. Which is scopus.com. So this is accessible for now via IP. And later on, if we would be able to activate the subscription, this can also be available via the email domain that you have with ETS. Okay. So there are ways of exploring information or data in Scopus. You could either search by document, by authors, researcher discovery, or based on keywords, organization. The Scopus AI for now is an add-on feature, which we will not talk about at present, but we'll just focus on the basic features. So let me start by going into organization. Okay, so let me start by going into the profile of ETS. Okay, so in an overview, you could actually see here the name of the institution, the address, the Scopus ID, the number of documents that are actually indexed on Scopus, or these are the publications, the number of authors who have contributed to these publications. And if you scroll down, you would also see, based on the subject trends, the composition of research output, and the number of documents. So for here, we could see that for ETS, definitely being strong at engineering, the most publication is in engineering. Okay. So when we click this, you would be able to see the documents or the publications under engineering that are tagged under ETS profile. So if you notice, we haven't filtered the dates yet. So the 6,361 documents is from the start. If we scroll down, we would be able to see the oldest publication. Okay. And if you scroll up, would be the latest publication. So what if it reflects here is from 2022, example, up to present. Sorry, my internet is a bit slow. Okay. So we filtered the time or the range from 2022 or 4 years up to 2025. We can also just filter under ETS publications. As you can see, it also shows here other subject area, even if we just clicked on engineering, because it could be that some publications can also fit or also have contribution to other field of study, because again, it is inter or cross-disciplinary. So it could also be categorized under computer science, math, energy, decision science, or even you have economics, neuroscience. So again, it is not just limited to just engineering because of its inter or multidisciplinary component. Let me filter again, 2022 to 2025. You're also, there's also a list of the authors who have published within ETS or affiliated with ETS on the left side. And you could also go straight to their profile. But let me filter first based on, for example, just engineering subject area. If you want just specific to article, which would be coming from journal publications, and specific to ETS. So when we limit the search, it will only give me within those filtered categories that we have done. So here, it limits a search to 2,700 documents, which you could actually export using various reference managers if you have. Okay. You could export based on these file types. And it could also link you to Cival, but which is a bibliometrics platform of Elsevier that does the analytics. Okay. All right. You could only download the full list. Let us, for example, click or use as an example the first article. So there's a link to that article. Again, being as an indexation, citation, and abstract database, you would only be able to see the abstract. Okay. This is how it would look like. It shows you the document type, the source, ISSN of that particular journal, the abstract, okay, which can also be broken down based on author topics or author keywords, Cival topics based on the areas or subcategories that we have identified in Cival, even funding details, who has funded this particular research output, and even related references to this topic. Okay. So if you want to view the full text option, it would provide you a link to the publisher's page. Okay. So it directed you to the publisher's link. Now, if you have subscription to this particular journal database, then you would be able to view the article in full text. Otherwise, again, what you would be seeing is abstract. Though even abstract, you could also use this as a tool to help you which references would be most ideal for your field of research. So at the same time, on the rightmost portion, you would also see links to other related documents. Okay. For example, let us use the third link or sample research article. Okay. Again, it directs you to the abstract. On the rightmost portion, there's also a summary, how many how many citations it has, and you could also view all of the metrics that was used. So this is also one way for you to evaluate. Okay. Here. How many times it was cited. So again, another way for you to check the impact of this particular article. In the summary, you have, there's also Plumex metrics, which is more on the media metrics. So how many captures, how many citation index. Again, you could export or view in the publisher page. So here it is with ASCE library. Okay. So again, if you have subscription to this, you would be able to view the article in full. Right. This one. Okay. So going back, let us explore the other categories or selections or search options in scopus.com. Okay. Okay. Now, let's go back to organization search. Also, just a note that when submitting your publication, always make sure that the name is as it shows here on Scopus. Either Institute Technology Sepuluh November or Sepuluh November Institute of Technology. So that all of the publications or index works will be counted against the total research output of ETS. Right. Okay. So going back here, I will click on authors under ETS. So here, you could also do filter. So for the authors listed here, they could also have affiliation with other institutions. And again, that will also be counted against that particular institution. All right. So here, you could also rank or filter the documents based on high to low, meaning the number of document counts or number of Scopus publications. Based on H-index. Now, H-index is a metrics that was created by Elsevier or Scopus. And how we have come up with it is the number of publication versus the number of citation for those publications. Okay. Or you could also search using the alphabetical format, affiliation, whether they're also affiliated with other institutions, city, country. Okay. So let me use the H-index sorting. And when I click on stop author, we're able to see here that, yes, his main affiliation, Scopus ID or SID ID. The number of citations. Very, very impressive. The number of documents published and indexed in Scopus, and the H-index or the scoring. Again, based on the number of publication versus the number of citations. You could also see the history. So how this researcher is doing, right? The number of documents and citations. So if you scroll down, you could also see the other documents or all of the documents listed on Scopus, okay, and links to it. You would also be able to see, this is a new tool or a new measurement that we have included, which is impact. Impact is based on the, or aligning this based on the metrics set by THE or Times Higher Education, specific to SDG or impact assessment. So here you're able to see which of those documents are actually categorized under which particular SDG. So again, this is also one way for you to check as a researcher if the documents that you have published or submitted is aligned, if all of the documents are accounted for, so that if there would be anything missing, you could just have to email us at scopus.com. So there would be a link to contact us. Okay? This is also one way for you. Let's say you want to use this researcher to check if you could potentially collaborate with him. So you could check which SDG you'd want to grow your research output, and then check from there, from the documents that he has. For example, SDG 2, on what specific document this is. So here, it would be found on the rightmost. So this is the specific document and the specific journals, which you may want to use again to submit your publication. Going back, you could also view here all of those 2,814 documents that has been cited and links to those documents. You could also see the preprints. Okay. Again, as I mentioned, preprints are normally undergoing Scopus indexation, those that may just need minor changes like the title or font. Who are the other co-authors? Okay. Links to that co-author's profile. What are the topics that his research is focused on? And based on that research output, what is the field-weighted citation impact? Or this would also be a measure of the quality of the citations. So the global average for field-weighted citation impact, or if FWCI, is 1. So anything higher than 1 means that that publication is high quality and there are a number of citations. Okay. Okay, so again, links also to those documents. All right. So let me go back again. Okay. Now going back to the institutional or organization profile, using the example of ETS, you could also see here structure. Structure is when there would be other affiliate institutions linked to ETS. In this case, there is none. You would also see who are the top collaborators of ETS. Okay. This is also one way to assess if the existing collaborations are working or if there would be some potential collaborations, or if you need to do more collaborative work with other institutions outside of Indonesia. So this is also one way to check it. And overall, the contribution or the impact of ETS as a whole based on the SDG or impact assessment under THE or Times Higher Education. And again, the links to those specific documents. Right. Now, let me go back to the main search page of Scopus, scopus.com. Let us use this functionality of researcher discovery. So researcher discovery is basically used when you want to search for specific collaborators. Okay. So based on keywords or any topic, any field of interest. Okay. So let me try, for example, your popular searches, Industry 4.0. Okay. All right. So now it gives you a list of researchers of authors who have the highest, again, based on the sorting, highest number of documents specific to Industry 4.0. You could also see here their H index, the total number of documents published, and total number of citations garnered. Okay, so again, you could also sort this by matching documents, lowest to highest, or highest to lowest, number of citations, or H index. So let us use the number of documents as basis. So we check the topmost. So when we click on that link, it would give you a summary about this author. So where he is connected, how many years of experience, what is the latest document, what are the most contributed topics, okay, matching documents based on our search, which is Industry 4.0, okay, and links to it. And you could also, again, view this author's full profile. So here you could also see on the rightmost portion, aside from the information about the author, the history of research output, the topics that he has contributed to, or most of his publications are aligned with. You could also see here the number of collaborations that this author has. Okay. So you could view author position details if you want to evaluate this in detail. Okay. So which could be found here on the rightmost portion. Okay. Number of documents based on average citations and field-weighted citation impact. Okay. So here, you would be able to see if you'd like to collaborate more with this author or connect with him. Okay. Okay. If you click on more potential, on more information, you would see here a summary of his affiliations, details. Right. Okay. Going back. Okay. Okay. Now, earlier we have already seen how an author profile looks like. But again, if you want to go straight to check either, for example, your existing profile or standing, you could just use the search either via author name, via ORCID, or keywords. Keywords, which is again linked to researcher discovery. Okay, and again, the data or the information that you could generate out of this would have links to those documents. Again, if you'd want to go straight to document finding, you could just search based on topics. Okay, we will still use the topic on Industry 4.0. Then it gives you the list of those documents. So Scopus is actually a very easy to use tool and very efficient. Okay. To further help you with, say, more information, you could go to content coverage. This will show you the list of Scopus index publications that are active. Overview. Here. You could download the source list. So here it shows you the list including the list of those that have been discontinued. So when a journal is discontinued, it means that it doesn't have any new updates or any new publications, maybe in a certain number of years or timeline. It could be 2, 3 years. So this is one way for you to check against the journal that you'd want to publish with, if that journal is still active as of present. Okay, could search here. Okay, what is the type? Okay, so all information about those journals that you'd want to publish with. So again, use Scopus as a way to evaluate, a way to check.
Excuse me, Bu Christy.
Yeah.
Remind you that the time is 10 minutes left.
Yes. Okay. I am actually done, Ibu, with the presentation. So this is the last information that I'd like to share, which is the source list. And if you want more information about Scopus, you could just go to scopus.com. Okay. There's also a video, tutorial videos, if you want to do a refresher. Right. Okay. So that's it from my side. Would there be any questions at this point? Or maybe Perpustakaan could help to communicate with me whatever questions that you have received, and I would be happy to answer them via email.
Okay. It's finished?
Yes.
Okay. Bu Christy, thank you very much. Scopus is powerful to support research and scientific publication, and especially in finding relevant in high quality literature. Thus, the presentation from Ibu Christy. Thank you for your very good presentation, Bu Christy. May all of us get the value and benefit from your presentation. Now we will move to the question and answer session. So many chat in column chat. I can read. Okay. It's from this is question from Friadi Amaluddin. Does Scopus Journal accept qualitative research article? And which Scopus Journal accept qualitative research article? Would you mind give me some example?
Okay. So the one I shared a while ago, which is the sources under scopus.com, and then you click on sources, that's the complete list of the active journals. And yes, we accept qualitative research articles. Again, in terms of the criteria that the CSAB or the board does, we don't actually have a view on it. But we would be happy to share with you the guidelines on how to get it indexed. So for a full list of the active non-predatory journals, that's where you could find it. www.scopus.com and then content.
Okay, Bapak Friadi Amaluddin tadi the explanation from Ibu Christy. It is clear? Okay.
I'd like also to address the other question. This Scopus Academy provides online and offline research training. Yes, we do. We normally provide it, whether through webinars or online or in face-to-face for existing subscribers. So we could do that based on your need. They promise that they can guide new researchers, yes, and they can submit. So yes, so if you could also go back, just very quickly, if I just go back to scopus.com, there's also a link here for publish with us. So here, what you would see is the guideline, whether you want to publish a book or a journal. So it's a step-by-step guide for publishing as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Pineda. Very clear.
Thank you, Pa. Thank you for asking the question. Just feel free to reach out to your library or me if you have further questions.
Another question, Ibu Gracie. Could we get the slide presentation material or recording after this event, please? The library we will send to email. Oke.
Yes.
Oke, Bapak Ibu, teman-teman mahasiswa, ada yang mau nanya lagi mumpung pakarnya ada di sini? Would you please to raise hand? Ya, teman-teman mahasiswa ITS yang ingin bertanya, silakan sampaikan pertanyaan Anda melalui fitur chat atau bisa langsung raise hand dengan mengaktifkan mikrofon. Masih ada lagi? Another question from Echa. Echa Kalinda Devi from SEMT. How to choose the right journal in Scopus for higher chance of publication? And how long is the average review process in Scopus journal? And how can we speed it up?
Yes. Okay, so thank you for raising that, Ibu. So how to choose the right journal on Scopus? You could actually view it based on the metrics that you have seen. When you do a search on either documents, and then it provides you a link to the specific journal. So there you would see if this is Q1 or Q2, Q3, or Q4 journals. So what we normally suggest is to always try to submit to Q1 and Q2 journals, because normally these journals are active. So that means that there is no risk for the publication to be removed from Scopus. Okay. Because remember, when a certain journal is inactive or doesn't have any updates for a certain number of years, then there's a possibility that the board will remove, because they always review what goes into Scopus every month. And again, we always suggest that you go into the sources link to check which of those journals are active at present, alongside with the information that you get for the particular document or journal that can be found on Scopus database or scopus.com. In terms of the review process, we actually, to be honest, we don't have a view, because it depends on the editor, and it depends for indexation. It also depends on the board. So, but normally they will reach out to you if there are any changes that need to be done or anything that you need updated. Yes, Pa? Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Pineda. I want to ask you, is there any charge for submission to Scopus journals? Thank you.
Yeah. The submission would actually vary per journal. It's not necessary just Scopus alone. So it depends on the journal that you want to publish with. There are different range. Like if it's open access, meaning there is no need for subscription on the side of the reader, that's where normally the researcher needs to pay. But if, for example, it is not open access or where the reader would have to subscribe, it would normally be free for the author or the researcher. Yeah. Also, at the same time, we in terms of the range for payment, it could vary from 3.5 to 5K, even lower than 3.5 to 5K USD, especially depending on the quartile of the journal, the number of citations it has. Also depending on the research area. If it's engineering, then it's much higher. If it's humanities or social science, it could just go as low as $300. So again, it differs.
Thank
How's
you.
sama-sama, Pa? How Scopus AI system work? Is there a specific prompt tips to use it? So Scopus AI is at of this time an add-on feature. So, Ibu, is it okay if I just show briefly how it works? It would just take 2 minutes. Okay. All right. So here, if for example we use hope you see the dashboard or hope you see the scopus.com. If you click on Scopus AI, you could actually ask for a particular, based on a particular question. Okay. For example, I'll use the existing example. So the question here is, how can international cooperation be improved to effectively address global climate? Okay. So what this does is it provides a summary, it provides you a guide on your research workflow. Okay, it provides you information that is derived out of Scopus based on the documents that are indexed on Scopus and links to those references. Yeah. So this one, reference one would be this, links to that particular reference. Okay. So it provides you also with makes you more efficient in terms of your search for documents based on your topic or question that you have done. It can also, so aside from the uh, basic or straightforward summary, it also has more expanded summary based on what other topics you could derive out of this or out of that question. Or it also provides you with concept map showing you what other areas that you could check pertaining to your research. So it would really be as a guide and a help to make efficiencies in the workflow much more efficient. It would also show you links or information about the authors who are the topic experts. Okay. Immediate link and the link to their profile. Again, all of these coming from Scopus. Okay. Emerging themes. This is based on the hot topics or of interest at this point. So based under the inquiry we had, what are the other hot topics on that field? So what are those references that you could use, okay, as basis or for evaluation? Okay. Right. Okay. So that would be the impact or benefit of Scopus AI. How can we know in the journal rankings and Scopus? So it would be based on the there are several metrics that we use on Scopus, USJR. So you could when you do your search on Scopus for a particular document, you could also filter it based on the metrics. Will ETS subscribe to Scopus? I will leave the library to respond to that. Okay.
ITS will be subscribed depend on your uh, depend on
Feedback.
your feedback, depend on your feedback and use strategy from the trial.
So again, just to share, the trial will end in March 21. So I would suggest everyone here to please log on to scopus.com and explore and check what other information would be more beneficial to you. So please use that.
Iya Pak Saiful, nanti insya Allah ITS akan melanggan tergantung pada feedback dari trial saat ini ya, dari bibit saat ini dan tergantung juga dengan pastinya kalau menurut saya ya saat ini adalah yang akses banyak banget, insya Allah semoga ITS melanggan kayak gitu. Begitu ya Pak Ep ya, ini dari jawaban dari library.
Siap Bu, mudah-mudahan. Terima kasih.
Ada pertanyaan lain? Okay.
What
From
is the
Amruwah, yeah, to everyone. What's the maximum time it take to publish a journal in Scopus?
Okay. So publishing a journal is one step. And then having this index on Scopus is another step. To be honest, we don't have a specific timeline because it depends on how the editor would evaluate if there are any missing information, or for example, just a use case. The name of your topic or your article is, or rather your journal, for example, is International Journal in Geopolitical or Geoscience. But then the collaborators that you have are mostly local. So how can you call it international? So those are some of the identifiers that a lot have actually like come across when it comes to having a particular journal publish and then index. Now again, indexation is another step wherein there is a board that oversees if this journal is qualified or based on the criteria that they have, which again from our end is not very specific. So it depends, especially if it's engineering, social science, life science. So they have specific criteria to follow. So, but what we have or what we can share is always a guide. So if you go again to www.lcvr.com and then, or how to publish, you could see there the guide, what needs to be done when you publish. Okay. For indexation, we normally provide a webinar or a training on that. So what are the basic steps?
Okay, thank you, Bu Christy, for your answer this question. And the explanation from the speaker, everybody, what is clear, I think is enough, Bu Christy. It is time.
Thank you very much, Christy.
Sama, terima kasih everyone.
Okay, thank you, Bu Christy. It seems time has run out, and so we'll have to end this session here. Oke, oke Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman mahasiswa ITS, kayaknya acaranya menarik banget ya, banyak sekali yang hadir dan juga banyak sekali yang nanya, dan sepertinya juga tadi secara di X Librarian juga banyak yang nanya. Nanti kita infokan lagi di layanan X Librarian. Oke, dan demikian rangkaian acara workshop perpustakaan ITS hari ini. Semoga acara ini dapat membawa manfaat untuk kita semua, dan kami informasikan bahwa database Scopus ini trial sampai tanggal 22 Maret 2025, dan untuk akses Scopusnya dapat menggunakan jaringan WiFi ITS ya, termasuk yang ada di Cokro. Kalau yang dari WiFi ITS, dan di luar kampus bisa menggunakan VPN off campus, begitu. Atau mau informasi lebih lanjutnya bisa dilihat di website Perpustakaan ITS www.its.id/perpustakaan, klik fitur koleksi dan klik fitur database. Di situ ada dua yang lagi trial, Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman, dari Statista dan dari Scopus database kayak gitu. Dan jangan lupa follow IG Perpustakaan ITS karena informasi lengkap ada di IG Perpustakaan its.library. Jangan lupa ya teman-teman. Oke, saya Eva mewakili panitia yang bertugas undur diri. Selamat melanjutkan aktivitas kembali. Bu Christy, thank you very much. That's a very good presentation. May all of us get a value from your presentation. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to the end of this training, and thank you for joining and your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Baik, jumpa
Thank
lagi,
you,
Pak.
Beva, Bu
Waalaikumsalam.
Kristi. Thank you very much.
Kristi.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.